Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've been working with some buttons recently. We did these little hover button, round buttons here the other day, and we did a little scrolling button that's going to scroll in, stay there, and it's going to zoom off to the right hand side. Today we've got another one for you. If we roll down to the bottom of this site, we've got a button at the bottom there. It's kind of breathing or pulsing, a bit like a heart. And that's a nice little eye-catching thing to have on your site. Really easy to do too. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's roll down to the bottom. We'll delete that and we'll start from scratch. I've got a section here, the blue tab. Inside, I've got a row, the green tab. Inside that, I've got a little homemade button here. I'm going to delete that. Let's start from scratch. As this is a round button, I'm going to build it from scratch like we did with the other ones with a little text module. Really easy to do. If you watched yesterday and the day before's video, skip ahead because you know what I'm going to do to build this. So I'm going to roll down, grab a little text module, put in what you want to say. If you want to put a second line, we can do that here. And this top bit, I'm going to make into a bit of a heading so it stands out from the bottom line there. I'm going to turn it into heading 3. Great. Let's give this a little background color. I'm going to make it red. And of course, being a button, you're probably going to want to link it to somewhere. Just above the background there, you've got a link. Put whatever link you want in here. And always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab. That way your site's going to stay open. Great. Well, our background, I'm not going to change color on hover because I'm going to write that with a bit of code. I want it changing color as it's pulsing. So let's go over to our design tab. I'm going to go down to the text, which will do both the heading and the paragraph text below. If you want to change your font, you can do so here, and there's plenty to choose from with Divi. Just roll over one for an example. Select what you want. I'm going to leave mine on the default. I'm going to go down. I'm going to pop my text in the middle there. I'm going to make it light in color. I think I want to make that heading text bold, so I can roll over it, hit the little paintbrush associated with it, or pencil, or whatever that thing is over there. It'll take you straight to it. So I'm going to turn it from regular to semi-bold perhaps. Just make it stand out a bit more. Now we want to turn this into a circle. To do that, you need to start off with a square. So still in design, let's go down to our sizing just below. I'm going to give it a width of 150 px, 150 px. If you don't put the px on the end, it'll actually put percentage in, which is not what you want. If it does that, select the percentage and just put px in. I'm going to do exactly the same for the height down below. This time, it'll actually put the pix in for us. Fantastic. And I want that text to be centered in the middle of this button, so we can do that with spacing just down below here. I think I used 50 pixels last time, but obviously adjust yours to taste. That works for me. Now to make this round, now that we've got a square, we can go down to border just down below. Make sure the little chain is checked. I'm going to put 50 and a % sign in there. Fantastic. And just to finish it off, I'm going to give it a little box shadow on the bottom. Just lift it off that page a little bit. Great. Now I kind of want mine to be in the middle of our little column here. So to do that, where we change the size of it over in sizing here, you've got modular alignment. We can just pop it in the middle. Fantastic. Well, let's make the magic happen now. We're going to make it pulse and change color on hover. So we can do that over in advanced, custom CSS. They've recently added this freeform CSS tab, so we can write complex CSS here without having to use a code module, which is great. Now we want to affect the actual element itself, so all we need to write to do that is selector. Then we can open and close some curly brackets, tell it what we want it to do inside there. Well, I want it to animate, pulse, and change color. So I'm going to say animation, animation, colon. We'll give it a name. I'm going to call it bpulse, bpulse. Call yours what you want, but it needs to be unique. That name doesn't want to appear anywhere else. I want it to run for about 5 seconds, 5s, and I want it to keep on going and going. So I'm going to say infinite. You can actually write this with the AI if you want to. I like to write my own code. You quite often have to correct with that AI, and that is actually a paid service. I think you get several free. Great. So now we need to create this animation that we've called bpulse, and we'll do that with keyframes. So I'm going to say at keyframes, and then the name that we gave it, which was bpulse there. We can now open some more curly brackets and tell it what we want to do in that 5 seconds. Well, at 0%, and we'll open some more curly brackets right there. I want it to scale up. Initially, I want it to be the right size, so I'm going to say transform, colon, scale, right at the end of scale with no gap, put some round brackets, and I want it to be normal size, which would be 1. 1 is 100%. And I want that background color to be red as it is at the moment. I need to put this in even though it's there, because when it comes back around, it might change it. So I'm going to say background, red, or whatever color you want in there. You can actually click on the little dot, choose whatever color you want that way, or copy the code, or put in whatever hex code you want. That's great. Then halfway along, I'm going to copy from the 0 to the first curly bracket there. I'm going to drop down. And you may notice with this, there's 2 curly brackets at the bottom. The first one is the keyframes that's encapsulating our code here. So halfway along, or 2.5 seconds of our 5 seconds, if you like, 50%, I want it to grow. So I'm going to say scale, up it by about 1/3. So I'll say 1.3, which would be 30% bigger, as you can see there. And it's already started doing it. But I also want to change that color to blue. So the color changes when it pulses. And again, put in whatever color you want. And you get a nice little gradient effect, actually, where it's going between the red and the blue. You get the sort of purples in there, which is quite nice. And that's all there is to it. If you want to speed it up, you can do so by reducing the time there. That may be a little too urgent. And of course, if you want to slow it down, you can do so by making it bigger. And it'll do it a lot more gradually. I'm happy with my 5 seconds though. Great. So we've done everything correctly. We should be good to go. I'll pop this code down below for anybody who wants to copy and paste, but it really is simple. So let's save what we got going on here. Save our changes down at the bottom. And we'll exit the Visual Builder. Roll on down to where we were working, past our various other buttons that we did there, and right at the bottom, we got our little pulsing button. And again, that's really eye-catching. That's going to get people's attention really quickly. One little thing we could do, I mean, they can click on it and link, but if you wanted to, you could stop that animation on hover. And for anybody that wants to do that, I'll quickly show you how. Let's re-enable the Visual Builder. And we'll roll on down once again. We'll go into our little module where we put that code initially. Back over to the Advanced Custom CSS, Freeform CSS. What we can do is drop down. And again, we're working with the selector, or the module itself. Right after the R of selector there, put a colon, no gap, and no gap again, and the word hover. We can create a hover effect. And all I'm going to do is open and close some curly brackets. And we'll write animation, colon, none. semicolon. And then when we hover over it now, it's going to stop pulsing, give people more chance to click on it and read the stuff. When you take your mouse off of it, it's going to start right back up again. Just thought I'd add that little bit in case you wanted to do it. So let's save that again. Make sure everything's going to work on the front end. Exit the visual builder. And we'll roll back down past our other little buttons again. There's our little pulsing button. When I hover over it, it's going to stop. When I take my mouse off, it's going to continue on. So there you go, guys. There's how to create a pulsing, growing button that changes color. Great little thing. As I say, that's going to get people's attention really quickly. Of course, when we hover over on it, it's going to stop. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, pop them down below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video like this one. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.